I see you and how hard you work to give everything, the best of everything, to the animals in your life. I see you. You do that. You wouldn't be here on some pet influencer site if you didn't really care about your animals. And so I know that you're doing a good job. I know you're doing a great job, even with the failures. Hey, devoted dog dads and marvelous mutt moms. I'm Dr. Heather. And right now, this is kind of a seasonal video. It's autumn in the Northeast United States where I live. And I did a blog post recently about some of the physical steps that you can do to take care of your physical body during autumn. But today I'm using more of the metaphysical aspect of autumn, where we slow down and we take stock. And I'm talking about mental and emotional taking stock. And what prompted me to do this is I'm seeing a lot of judgment in the holistic health community, and division, and self-judgment too. And I mean, it's kind of inevitable because, back in olden days, like, our ancient brain is sort of wired to like gather into groups of like-minded individuals and to be a little bit us and them. That's just a survival thing. If we were all by ourselves, we would have died quickly. And of course, what gets us going more than our beloved pets, the animals in our life who we love so much, and we want to do right by them. And, life now is just going by at, exponentially increasing rates, and everything feels out of control. So we kind of grab on to our animals, and, we want to control something, and we love them. So we feel like, well, we can control caring for them and control those outcomes, which we can't. One of these days, I'll tell you the story of Tessa and how I had to have my heart vaporized into 1,000 tiny powdered fragments in order to truly learn that lesson. But let's stick with you. There's a saying that I really love, and it helps me get through a lot of hard times. And that saying is, the master has failed more times than the beginner has tried. Dramatic pause, right? Because I really want you to think about that. The master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. And so what that means is that not only is failure okay, but failure is actually a crucial step in learning, growing, and maturing. And that is true for you, and definitely for me. And it's also true for the animals in our life, right? They've got to fail. And until we accept that, right, and really totally accept that, life starts to feel like really hard and cruel and hard to understand. Once we accept that failure is not only unavoidable, it can be a cause for celebration because we're learning and growing. So a really personal example, my dad had Alzheimer's, and it's bad if you've experienced it, and, I happen to think that we're all here to learn and grow. And at a certain point, like, that wasn't happening for Dad, right? There was no learning going on. And I was really upset because his quality of life was really bad. And it was suggested to me that, well, yeah, your dad is no longer learning, but now he's teaching. And that just shifted everything for me. Because I realized that if my dad was going to stick around and suffer in the way that he was suffering, and he couldn't learn anything more, it was giving me an opportunity to learn something from him. And why am I talking about this, right? Because I know, like, again, I see you and how hard you work to give everything, the best of everything, to the animals in your life. I see you. You do that. You wouldn't be here on some pet influencer site if you didn't really care about your animals. And so I know that you're doing a good job. I know you're doing a great job. Even with the failures that I'm sure you're sitting there listening, like, oh, Dr. Heather, but I didn't do this and I didn't do this. And, you're thinking about the animals in your life who got diseases that really upset you and you couldn't do anything about it, or you're trying to do things differently. And, that's just, it's inevitable. I'm not saying it's like, don't worry if your animal is suffering. I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, you're not going to be able to change everything. So just try your best and then get back to the business of living, which is what our animals really, really want. They're really good at it, right? The present moment. Remember that movie Up where, the dogs would be having a conversation and then squirrel, right? Like, dogs are like that. Most of them, right? They're just like the present moment. I give them maybe an acupuncture needle that doesn't feel so good, and then I give them a rain of cookies, and they're like, oh, that's great, instantly forgiven. That's all they want from us, really, I think, is just to be with them in the present moment, to give them our full attention whenever we can. And, life these days, as I said earlier, like, it's crazy out there. Woo! And it ain't getting sane anytime soon. So don't wait for it to get better, because it's just not happening. You got to just be better and accept that this is life, right? And go easy on yourself. That'll make it easier on your pets. Go play fetch, cuddle on the couch, enjoy the magic of the very generous present moment. Take a read of the blog. I put a few more things in there. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your favorite present moment is with one of the animals in your life. Like, what is the favorite moment? I know for me, one of my favorite moments is, of course, feeding time. They love feeding time. And there's that moment when they know that I'm getting their meals ready. And, whew, boy, it's fun. And then I think my next favorite time, or another favorite time, would be bedtime, when we cuddle up together and we both kind of get everything arranged just right. And Juniper in particular, she likes to spoon. And boy, do I love that. Oliver just sprawls, as you might imagine. And his little nose will often be right up at my nose. I love it. It's delicious. Enjoy. So if you like this video, it's a little serious. TikTok isn't super serious, but I am also on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, come join me there. We'll have some fun. I'm sure there'll be some dancing cats somewhere involved. But we'll also talk about some serious stuff. There's some other people on there putting out some good content that I like to connect with. So see you on the socials.